Hello, everyone. It's time for Van Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanos. This is episode 368, season 15. Today's date is October 1st, 2024, and welcome to the show. Yes, it's the first day of October. The year is ending soon. On today's program, I'm going to talk about two obscure things in the Chicagoland area. One is the Kare drug stores. That's spelled Kare. They were affiliated, they were together with National Food Stores. You probably remember those. Also, I'll talk about a TV program that aired in the 1960s. A lot of people forget. It was called Silence, Please, and that showcased silent movies or clips that aired in Chicago. I'll go into more detail about that. So before we get started, we're going to go into a commercial. So this program is brought to you by Zenith Color Century Television. Oh boy, that's a mouthful. Anyway, so this commercial is from 1977 or 78. I'm not sure. I'll check. And it features Pete Rose, one of the greatest baseball players of all time. He passed away yesterday at the age of 83. So just sit back and relax, and I'll be right back with the show, and I'll talk about a little bit about Pete Rose and my memories of watching him. Okay? Well, thank you.
You know why Zenith developed Color Century? Well, did you ever see my face and it looks too red? And other times it's all washed out? That's why.
Zenith Color Century. Think of it as a TV control room in your set. It controls the color picture, corrects the color picture, automatically, 30 times a second.
And that makes a difference. After all, I don't play for the Cincinnati Pinks.
See the difference Color Century makes. Only from Zenith.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Zenith Color Century television that featured the baseball legend Pete Rose. He passed away yesterday at the age of 83. He played for the Cincinnati Reds. I don't know if he played another team. I'm not sure. I'll check his biography quickly. Yes, he did. Yeah, I'm sorry. He did do that. He played for the Phillies, Philadelphia, and then the Expos, and then he went back to Cincinnati. So he was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, on April 14th, 1941, and I remember watching him in the 70s. From what I've understood, I'm not a baseball fan really, but he was wonderful, according to most people. Then, then he got into a lot of trouble, with the gambling and all that, and he did not. He was not elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame, which is that's terrible, But I think you would. I think people ought to forgive and forget, A lot of people have forgiven. And a lot of people have forgotten. They've forgotten and they've forgiven. And, you know what I mean? So, so that's a shame. I like them. And he did a lot of commercials during that time. Not only for Zenith, he did Nestle's Crunch, I think granola. I think he appeared on television, I believe. Television roles. So, seemed like a nice guy. That's a shame. As for Zenith, everyone grew up with the TVs and the radios like me. Company's still around, sort of, but they don't make TVs anymore. I think it's absorbed to LG. It's a long story about that. One day I'll talk about. I've talked about Zenith before on the podcast, but maybe I'll go in a little more detail. Maybe, because it's a fascinating subject, So, I'm sorry, I had an itch in my ear. So, That's a shame. The outpouring of support to his family, their condolences, my condolences to his family. Yeah, he was one of a kind. He really was. Okay. At the beginning of the program, I mentioned I'm going to talk about the drugstore's Kare. It's spelled Kare. A lot of people don't remember that. They were affiliated with National Food Stores. Also, I'm going to talk about a TV program that was in the 60s called Silence Please. I'll go into more detail of that too. First off, I'm going to mention a couple things. One, yesterday I went for a walk for a long time. I did on my driveway. I've mentioned this many times. I posted it on social media, and I did 30 laps. That's my usual on the driveway. I can't go around the block because I still have bathroom issues and I have to be near the toilet. So it's tough. Unless I go to knock on somebody's house and use it, which is embarrassing. I would not do that. I have to be. So if I have to go to the bathroom, I could just run in the house, use it, take care of my business, and then come back out and resume, my walking, But if it's like really, I gotta go, yeah, like that. I get some nice compliments from people. I appreciate them all. Thank you. Some people tell me to go into sports, like jogging, running, pickleball, tennis. No. Bicycling, triathlon. No, I can't do all that. It's too much, especially my age. It's too hard. Besides, I take medication. I take 2 medications. One, I'm waiting for prior authorization again. But I take the Xtandi and I take it at night and it makes me very sleepy and it makes me very tired at night, so I go to bed. So it's out of the question. Besides, I asked my doctor, what kind of exercise should I do? Just do your walk. You're okay. If you want to try other things, fine, but you have to do it very slow. And but you might hurt yourself, so don't exert yourself. As for dieting, I try to cut down most things. I can eat anything I want. If I want a piece of chocolate cake, I'll have one, but I won't have 2 or like another snack. So that's it. So I eat well. Breakfast very light, lunch very light, and I have a nice dinner. And I don't eat anything else after that, but I have a little snack at night before, to go to bed because my stomach growls and I have to put like a cookie or something or like that to calm down. And it works. I sleep very well. So, but thank you again. I do my best, but people who are on a health regimen, they get a little carried away. They got to calm down. Just calm down. Do what you want. That's fine. But don't do this to me. You got to listen to your doctor. And I have been. I listened to my urologist, my oncologist, and I'm doing okay. I said this before. If you lose weight very fast, there's something wrong with you. If you lose very slowly, you're okay. If you gain a little weight, you're okay too. Okay. So that's my health journey update for that. Number 2, my birthday is coming up on Friday, October 4th. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be 61. Oh boy, where did the time go? So, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what's going to happen. Probably going to stay home. Probably have a nice dinner. My mom will bake a cake. So it'd just be me, my brother, my mom, and I won't go out to dinner. I mean, if I'm invited, yeah, maybe that'd be nice, but that's okay. I like quiet. I don't want a big fuss, because I'm kind of embarrassed like that. I have been. It was fun when you're a kid, but when you're old, oh, no, that's not fun. But that's okay. That's fine. I'm looking forward to it. And a lot of people say you're not getting younger, you're getting better. Or you're getting younger, but you're not getting older. Oh, that's fine with that. All right, let's get started. I'm going to talk about Kare drugstores. Now, when I was a kid, I used to see this drugstore. I used to see the signs, and they were, when we went shopping, my mom and I, that is, shopping at National Foods. When we lived in the Roseland neighborhood, there was a National Food store on like 115th Street and South Michigan Avenue. There was a plaza. There was a not an A&P, no. Maybe there was an A&P. I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, I think A&P took over because there was one on 112th Street. But National Foods was there, and then I saw the Kare sign, and there was a drugstore, and they had sometimes it was called Kare Apothecary, which you know what apothecary means. It's pharmacist. You know. So I used to see this advertised in newspapers, magazines, and they were all over the Chicagoland area. I think it started in the late 60s. And then it ended maybe early 1970s, but National Foods left the Chicagoland area in the mid-1970s, but they continued to thrive in other parts of the city, namely St. Louis. I think that's their headquarters. Kare went also with that, and then they shut down for business for good. They were gone. I got some locations of Kare drugs, not all of them, so I'll read off really quickly. They were mostly were in the city and suburbs, so I'll read off. One was 3745 North Lincoln in Chicago. One was in Glenview, Waukegan, and Lake Street. Other one was in Niles, Golf Road, and Milwaukee Avenue. Algonquin and Lee Streets, Des Plaines. Also 2995 Kirchhoff Road in Rolling Meadows. Camp McDonald and Wolf Road in Wheeling. Diversity and Halsted in Chicago. Division and Oakley in Chicago. 2127 West Lawrence in Chicago. That's about in Damon or like that. Gulf Road and Route 83 in Mount Prospect. Then 4610 North Clark in Chicago. That's in the north side. On the south side, it was Cicero and Cermak on Cicero, the suburb. 115th and Western in Chicago. 5346 South Ashland in Chicago. I think that's the Beck in the Yards neighborhood. Cermak and Hoyne in Chicago. Also 2321 Kedzie in Chicago, and 2623 South Pulaski. That's in the Little Village neighborhood. And 47th and Calumet in Chicago. Now, west was in 1705 North Main Street in Wheaton, 55th Street in Plainfield and LaGrange, Madison and Cicero in Chicago, 1705 North Harlem in Chicago. That's like near Gaywood neighborhood. In Elmhurst on North and York Road, and Harlem and Washington Street in Forest Park. I'm sure there were others, but this is from 1970, I think 1968. That was located like that. So, because there were a lot of independent pharmacies. There's still a couple of them today, but mostly we have Walgreens and Osco. Osco's with Jewel. CVS, but they've been closing CVS for the past couple of years, and like the one near my house, and you don't find many anymore. Yeah, it's a shame, because they're not from Chicago; they're from out of state, so it's hard to find one. Walgreens used to be around every corner, but they've been closing a few of them lately. So I think it's overconsumption. It's over too many like that, which is understandable. So the Kare drugs, I try to find products, but that on eBay, it's hard to find. I found a couple. There was a photo of razor blades for sale on eBay, and it had the Kare drugs logo on it. I posted that a long time ago. It'd be great to find some more. It really would. But, a lot of people don't really remember this place. They remember Osco, which is still around. That's understandable like that. Anyway, so that's it for Kare drugs. And right now I'm going to take a quick break. And then when I come back, I'm going to talk about the TV program Silence Please. Okay? So just sit back and relax, and I'll be right back, folks. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I'm back after a quick break. Right now, I'm going to talk about a television program that a lot of people have forgotten. It was called Silence, Please. This program showcased movies and clips from the silent era, the golden age of the silent movies that featured, for example, Charlie Chaplin, Max Sennett, Charlie Chase, Laurel and Hardy, just to name a few. Maybe can't think of other Rudolph Valentino. Like the when I was a kid, when I grew up, I didn't understand the silent movies because when you're little, they're talking, but there's no sound. And they showed the boards with the dialogue, and I go, "What the heck is that?" So that's probably why it was a silent movie. Sound was introduced in the 1920s, late 1920s, that is, and then so that was a great thing to happen. But in the like in the early 1900s or 1910s or 1920s, if you want to go to the movies, you had to go to a silent movie, and then it's accompanied by a piano or an organ. And then they showed that. And some of the movies were really fast like that. Oh, I forgot one, Buster Keaton. And so when I was growing up, they used to show these on television because there's a big fan base of that. And there still is today, believe it or not. The program Silent Please first aired in 1960, like about in late summer on WBKB Channel 7 in Chicago, which later turns into WLS. And aired on Thursday nights at 9:30, and it was a big hit. And it ran for about a couple of years, and then I think it went off the air about 62, 63. And then there was an outpouring of mail, and they want the show to return. Channel 7, no, we're not bringing it back. But Channel 9 brought it back. Yeah, they did. And they brought it back, I think, about 1964, 65. They brought it back on Channel 9. They aired it on the same time. And became a big hit again. And there was another TV show that did the same thing. It was called The Toy That Grew Up. And that aired on WTTW Channel 11 in Chicago. And PBS, and that was popular too. And I forgot I did a podcast episode about that one. So if you want to listen to that, help yourself. So the Silence Please program, that lasted about 1969, 1970, and they showed like I said before, the clips and movies like that. It was fascinating to see at that time, when they're acting and, you see their lips move, and they showed the cue cards and all that, or the bumpers like that. So the only one I really enjoyed was Laurel and Hardy, because I'm a big fan of them. They make me laugh. They still do. I have their movies on DVD, but today kids, younger people, they don't really appreciate them, but they should, because they're hilarious. They're still funny. And if you watch the silent ones, their silent films, they were wonderful, very entertaining like that. You don't find that today. They were clean. They were not offensive. There's no swearing. Just good, clean fun. Good, clean entertainment like that. I like Charlie Chaplin. I really do. They made a movie about him with Robert Downey Jr. He was excellent. I forgot another one, Keystone Cops. Used to run around in that, paddy wagon like that. So, silent movies, there is an audience for that, and there's a fan base for that, which is great. That's wonderful. And very talented people, very talented people at that time. When they went into sound, most of them continued to act. Most were successful. Others, no. I just thought of another one, Harold Lloyd. He did silent movies, and he did a few sound movies. He was okay. So it was Lauren Hardy, Harold Lloyd. Who else? Buster Keaton. Others, there were women. I can't think of the women. Mabel Normand, I think. Clara Bow. I think she was the it girl. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, so some just faded into obscurity, or died, or they just disappeared. Well, all three. So, but the others thrived. They really did. Mostly Lauren Hardy. They thrived. They really did. They were together until Oliver Hardy passed away in 1957. So they live on through television, streaming, DVDs, which I have. So that's good news. That's wonderful. I'm very pleased. Okay. So that's it for today. There's not much to talk about, so I'll do a recap of what I talked about. I talked about the Kare drugstores that were affiliated with National Food Stores. They were in business from the late 1960s through the early 1970s. Also, to talk about the television program Silence Please that aired on WBKB-TV Channel 7 and also on WGN-TV Channel 9 in Chicago. Okay. This podcast will be published later on today. Whatever podcasts are available. For example, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Breaker, Overcast. Just tap on those apps. Tap following. You'll get the latest episode. And you can listen to previous episodes if you wish, if you'd like. Also, be posted on my blog, vanchicagoland.blog. You can click on the link. Also, it'll be on my YouTube channel. Again, people still ask me, where do I find your podcasts? Where do I find your podcasts? Go to YouTube, do a search, type in Van Chicagoland Stories, or my name, Pete Costanas. Tap on, click on subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. Just listen to the latest episode. You'll receive a notification, and you can listen to previous podcast episodes as you like. I've been receiving emails from people. They say, from podcast episodes from a couple of years ago. They're still listening, which is great. And also be sure on my social media accounts, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, Reddit, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Threads. Also, I want to mention one more thing. Yesterday, my podcast hit a milestone. It hit 250,000 plays. That's 250,000. That's very impressive. So they listen. Those people listen to it. I don't know if they listen to the whole thing. I don't know. So I'm not sure. So that's great. I'm very proud of myself for doing this. I'm very happy. And so I shared it on my social media. I get a few congratulations. That's great. That's nice. But it's nice to be acknowledged. And I'll continue to do so. It's something I enjoy all the time. I could do it every day, but I'll be saturated with topics. So I don't want to do that. So just calm down. Try to think what I should speak about, and I'll be okay. I'll be fine. Okay, so this is Pico Sanchez, your host for Van Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. It's a nice day. It's a little cool compared to yesterday. I'll try to walk today. I'll try. I will probably do another podcast this weekend, probably the day after my birthday. I'll talk about that. And we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. So thank you again for joining me. And here's bye-bye for me. And here's a little traveling music from Ray Rayner saying bye, bye, bye. Take care, everyone, and so long.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.